Good evening again, everyone. I wanted to go through our unit review with you so that you knew the answers to your study guide. So go ahead and get that out, and remember that you can always pause or rewind or re-listen to this video as we go through it. I will try not to talk too fast, as I've had several people tell me that I tend to talk a little faster than they wish that I did. So let's get started. Alright, your first question is, who explored the Louisiana Purchase? And I sure hope that you know that that was Lewis and Clark. So remember that they are the ones that explored the whole Louisiana Purchase for President Thomas Jefferson. The next question on your study guide is, where did the Louisiana Purchase explore? And as you can see from this map right here, it goes from St. Louis all the way the St. Louis, Missouri area, all the way over here into the Oregon country. But what I want to know is that it started at around the Mississippi River and it went all the way to the Pacific coast or the Pacific Ocean. So keep that in mind, from the Mississippi to the Pacific coast. Your next question says, why did people move west? Now, remember there were four main reasons for this. The first one was because of that huge population growth in the eastern part of the United States. The second was that there were lots of economic opportunities, like the gold rush, and you can see the man there panning for gold in the river. Cheaper and faster ways to travel, such as the steam locomotive and the steamboat. And then inexpensive and fertile land was available out there. Remember the Homestead Act. So those are the main reasons that people moved west. The next question is, what two main trails did people use to travel overland west? Now this map right here has several different trails on it, but I want you to notice the red one, which is the Oregon Trail, and the yellow one, which is the Santa Fe Trail. Those are the two trails that I want you to remember. So this one right here, the Oregon Trail, which goes all the way up here, and the Santa Fe Trail, which is right here. Those are the two that you need to remember. What area became part of the USA after the Mexican-American War? Now, if you remember, the Mexican-American War was fought over this area over here, the Mexican Cession area, or the California Territory, which is right here on our map. In what order did we purchase the lands that are now North America? Let's go through this real quick. We started off with the United States right here, right after the Revolutionary War. Right after that, we purchased the Louisiana Purchase. After that, we went ahead and got Florida from Spain. Then, Texas decided to join the United States. After that, we get the California Territory of the Mexican Cession area. Then after that, we get Oregon country. And finally, we have the Gadsden Purchase down here. That is the order in which we acquired land that is now the United States. Which territory was divided between Great Britain and America? And this one is going to be Oregon country, the Oregon Territory, and it was divided at the 49th parallel, if you remember, and that's this border that we still have today. Oregon Territory went all the way up into Canada, and we divided it. The northern half went to Great Britain, and the southern half came here to us. The next thing on your study guide is, which territory joined the USA freely? Once again, look at this map. We see that Texas was what joined us freely. They were being taken over by Mexico, and they did not like that, and so they joined the United States. It was the one territory that we didn't have to buy or fight a war for. Next on your study guide, from what country did we get the area that is now the southwestern part of the United States? And that one you should be able to guess pretty easily, because it's usually referred to as the Mexican Cession, and that is right here, and that country is Mexico. We fought the Mexican-American War over this land right here. What is manifest destiny? Remember that manifest destiny is the belief that westward expansion, or the taking over of the North American continent, was a God-given right. It was what was best for our country. Next is, what country did we purchase Florida from? You see here the map of Florida, and the country that we purchased Florida from was Spain. Now, I want you to notice where each territory is, because on your test, one of these areas might be shaded in a darker color, and it might ask you what territory is shaded in dark. So take a moment and notice where each one of the territories are, where Texas is, where Oregon country is, where the Mexican cession is, where the Louisiana Purchase is, and where Florida is, which I hope all of you will remember where those are, since you did such a great job painting them on your United States maps. And another thing that will be on your test that you will definitely need to know is you are going to need to know where the two main overland trails are on the map. Now, remember that the Oregon Trail goes from somewhere over here near Independence all the way up into the Oregon area, and then on this other map we see that the Santa Fe Trail starts at the same general area and goes all the way down here to the Santa Fe area, which is just kind of in the northwestern area, kind of outside of Texas. So remember where those two areas are on the map. Now, the next question on your study guide is, what was used to power the new boat invention? Now, the new boat invention is pictured here, and it is called the steamboat because it was powered by steam. So you need to know that that was the steamboat powered by steam. The next thing on your study guide is going to be, what invention increased the need for slave labor? Now, I have a picture of it here, and this is the cotton gin. What I'm going to say about this question is, on your test, you might just have the question, or you might have a graph that shows an increase of slave labor, and you have to remember and read that graph and figure out, okay, I know that the cotton gin increased the need for slave labor, and go that way. The next thing on your study guide is going to be, who invented the cotton gin? And that is Eli Whitney. And remember, we read his letter to his father in class on Tuesday. So who invented the cotton gin? Eli Whitney. What was one effect of the invention of the reaper? Now, the reaper, remember, was the invention that cut standing grain, and the main effect of the reaper was that it increased the productivity of our American farmers. It made their job a lot easier. They were able to cut more grain faster. Who is credited with inventing the steamboat, even though he really just made improvements? And that is Robert Fulton, and there's a picture of him right here on your screen. Robert Fulton is credited with inventing the steamboat. What was one of the effects of the steamboat? Now, I have a map here because one of the effects of the steamboat was that it enabled our different regions of the United States to ship things to each other. Specifically, the southern areas were able to ship the raw materials to the northern areas. So remember that. What was the name of the slave that helped Cyrus McCormick invent the reaper? Now, if you remember, his name was Joe Anderson. Joe Anderson. What is an entrepreneur? This is a fancy word for a businessman. It is a person who takes an invention or an item to market and sells it for a profit. So that's what you need to remember about entrepreneurs. Now, please look over your answers and your maps and study. There are going to be 2 bonus questions on the test. They're not actually going to be on the test. They're going to be on the board whenever we are in the classroom taking the test. So be ready for your test tomorrow. all of those questions that we just went over will be on your test in one form or another. Some of them will be on there more than one time, asked in a little bit of a different way. And remember that if you have any questions about any of this, write it down and bring it with you to class tomorrow so that we can discuss it as we review together as a class. We're going to do a fun review game. And I hope that y'all have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.